We've got a signing to break down on today's show. So welcome into this edition of Atlanta Falcons Today by Chat Sports. Matthew Peterson here with a quick disclosure before we jump into the JJ Arcega-Whiteside signing. I got my wisdom teeth yanked out over the weekend. Still not really 100%, but I wanted to come into the office and get this video done for you guys because we've been talking about how the Falcons need to add another wide receiver, and they sort of did it. So just bear with me and my Bugs Bunny cheeks and my inability to talk super duper well. But let's get started by getting to know JJ Arcega-Whiteside. He was a former second-round pick by the Eagles back in 2019. Remember, he was the wide receiver that went ahead of A.J. Brown and Deebo Samuel and a lot of other good wide receivers. An all-time miss by the Philadelphia Eagles. He tried out for the Falcons rookie minicamp a few weeks ago, or like last week, I guess, actually. So this signing isn't, super duper surprising in my opinion. A lot of times they do those rookie minicamp tryouts, and if you look like you're in shape and you look like you can compete at least for the 90-man roster, they'll bring you on at least for training camp. But by no means does this mean JJ Arcega-Whiteside is going to be on the Falcons 53-man roster. Last year, he was on the Seahawks practice squad. He was traded from Philly to Seattle in the preseason, if I remember correctly, and he never cracked the regular season roster for Seattle. So his last regular season game came back in 2021 with the Philadelphia Eagles. So with that being said, what is your one-word reaction to this signing? I don't have a ton of enthusiasm today, mostly because of the wisdom teeth removal. But even if I didn't get my wisdom teeth taken out, I probably still wouldn't be super jazzed up about this signing. My one-word reaction, meh, and that's kind of putting it lightly. Like, this is not a signing that I think fixes the wide receiver room or really does a whole lot to it. I don't think this is a signing that even makes you a guarantee for the 53-man roster, right? In his career, Arcega-Whiteside, nothing. Like, he has been an all-time bust of a second-rounder. Eagles fans hate him. He went ahead of many other wide receivers that went on to have great NFL careers so far. That's not his fault. But by no means do I look at this and go, yes, the Falcons wide receiver room is complete. They have their missing piece, and Desmond Ridder is now primed to throw for 4,000 yards. Like, you still have a bit of a drop-off after Drake London. Mac Hollins had a really good season last year for the Raiders. Scotty Miller's been a good slot receiver for Tom Brady. Desmond Ridder's not Tom Brady. So I'm curious to see how the rest of this room, plays out with a young, borderline rookie quarterback who's going to be making his 5th NFL start week 1 against the Panthers in Desmond Ridder. Now, quick FYI, if you will, he could be a tight end. Okay, JJ Arcega-Whiteside, when he was traded to the Seahawks last year, he's got a huge frame. That's sort of why the Eagles fell in love with him. So don't be shocked if we got another Felipe Franks on our hands here where they decide you're not going to make it as a wide receiver. The speed's not there, but let's give you a shot at tight end. Now, when we look at Atlanta's tight end room, you have Kyle Pitts. You added Jonnu Smith right before free agency got started, if you will. And then you ended the season last year with Parker Hesse as your starting tight end. So Atlanta's got a pretty good tight end room once Kyle Pitts is back to 100%, which I'm sure he will be by the time training camp gets underway. And I like the Jonnu Smith acquisition. Remember, he flourished under Arthur Smith in Tennessee. So hopefully the Falcons can better utilize him than the Patriots did. So if he is a tight end, I don't think he's a lock to make the roster. Right? I don't think, hey, convert to tight end and there's an opening in that room for you. Now, JJ Arcega-Whiteside, like a lot of other guys, is going to be competing for the 53-man roster. He is not a lock by any means. Now, never miss a Falcons signing. Even when my wisdom teeth get taken out, I was like, JJ Arcega-Whiteside, that's a big enough name to do a video. Let me run into the office and get you guys the latest details and whatnot. So make sure you are subscribed if you are not already. Now, if I haven't already made it clear, I'll make it abundantly clear right now. This signing does nothing for me. One, sorry, JJ, he sucks. Like, no one's going to say otherwise, right? He has not done anything in his career. He has been an all-time second-round bust, which, can you still be a bust if you're round 2? I think round 2 is still bust territory. But the point is, no, I don't look at this signing and start, jumping up and down thinking, boom, the Falcons wide receiver room just got a lot better. I don't know if it got better at all. Like, no offense to JJ Arcega-Whiteside, and I'm going to go full Ricky Bobby mode here and say with all due respect, but with all due respect, the dude sucks. So no, I'm not going to look at this and go, yes, the Falcons, they've got a great offense now. It is 100% ready to roll. Because they still have a lack of experience in the wide receiver room, right? You look at some of the most experienced players in the room, and maybe Frank Darby can get bounced out for Scotty Miller, but the point is Mack Hollins has the most career yards with 1,440. Yikes. I like Drake London. This is not Drake London slander, and I think he's going to be a very good player for this team in 2023. But if Drake London were to miss some time, God forbid, knock on wood, I don't know. I don't want to know what the rest of that receiver room looks like, because Desmond Ridder is not going to have a lot of fun throwing the ball to the outside. So with that being said, how would you rate this Falcons wide receiver room? Scale 1 to 10. I know Fontenot can't do a full rebuild in one offseason, and he got a lot of good pieces this offseason. I liked the Bijan Robinson pick. I know it might not be the most, best way to utilize a top 10 selection, but the Falcons just drafted their all-time leading rusher, and I love the Jesse Bates signing. But for me, the wide receiver room, it's much closer to 1 than it is to 10. Now, speaking of Bijan Robinson, he still has his jersey over on Fanatics. And here's the deal. You got to get the jersey now in May or June, because these things always get on, backlog or whatever. Supply chain can be a disaster at times. Don't push it off until August. So if you want a Bijan Robinson jersey, do it today. Chatsports.com/BijanATL. I put that link in the comments and the description for you guys. So don't wait on this and then decide in preseason, let me get a Bijan jersey. He's looking really good so far. Boom. Your Bijan jersey does not come until October. Now, speaking of Bijan, I'm going to steal a line from Nathan for you here. The plan for the Falcons 2023 offense, it's going to be one long Nathan for you episode. It's run the football, right? Clearly, Arthur Smith is going with a run-first approach here. Atlanta is going to lead the NFL in rushing carries, rushing yards, and rushing touchdowns and everything next season, because they are not going to have Desmond Ridder sit back and stand in the pocket 25, 30 times a game and throw the ball to JJ Arcega-Whiteside and Kadarius Hodge and Frank Darby. They are clearly making a small core with Bijan Robinson, Drake London, and Kyle Pitts, and going, this is what we have to work with for 2023. This is clearly not the only pieces of our offense we want for years to come, but for now, we can only Arthur Smith only has so much to work with this year. So if he's got an all-pro running back as a rookie, he's going to utilize him a lot. And I also think this is a good time to say, even myself included, this is a big season for Kyle Pitts, because they are going to rely and lean on him a lot, because they don't have a lot of talent at the wide receiver position, right? It is going to be Drake London as wide receiver 1 and Kyle Pitts as wide receiver 1A. Those two guys are going to have to carry the workload through the receiving room. And for Kyle Pitts, you kind of expect it. When you're a top 5 pick, you're supposed to be a lot more than just a 750-yard tight end, good for 4 touchdowns. We're going to need Austin Hooper 2019, whatever season that was, on steroids. That's the kind of expectations that Kyle Pitts has in front of him. So, Nathan, for you, the plan, run the football. Aaron Wilson also tweeting out that not only did the Falcons sign JJ Arcega-Whiteside, but Jared Bernhardt was put on the reserved/retired list. So another little nugget of Falcons news for you guys right there. Okay, that is going to do it for us on today's show. I'm going to go back to icing my face and trying to get rid of this Bugs Bunny look so I can actually talk normal for the first time in a couple of days. But make sure to subscribe if you have not already. We're going to sign off and see everyone later.